Trigger warning, this is not a fun video, don't watch it if you don't want to dampen your day. I always seem to get asked the same kind of questions about my past by the people that are comfortable asking them, but I guess a lot of people are probably not comfortable asking them, and I guess a time will come when I'm not around to answer them anyway, so I'll answer them here. Here we go. First question, what was happening in your life at the time that led to that situation? It was a very low point in my life, for many reasons, but not least of which, the passing of my dad. I found myself feeling like I was trapped behind a shadow, and no matter which way I stepped, I couldn't move into the sunlight. Everything was dark, everything was lonely, everything was sad. And there was nothing I could do to change it. And then I became a parent, which should be a joyous time in anyone's life, but stuck behind that shadow, I just had such a feeling of self-doubt, like I couldn't do it well. And that led to a terrible sense of self-loathing. I guess I was in search of a reprieve from this shadow, the darkness that surrounded me, and that led to some extremely selfish, foolish, reckless behaviour on my part. Next question. What was the wolf? It's a pen name. At some point, I found myself looking for distractions. I was scribbling erotica and posting it online, and much to my surprise, a lot of people found it extremely entertaining. It snowballed super quickly overnight. I had a large following, and it was super addictive. The attention, the adulation, all of it made me feel like just for a moment in time, I'm stepping out from behind this shadow into the sunlight. But just like any addiction, very quickly, as soon as it was over, I realized that it just made me feel worse. But just like any addiction, I kept going back and doing it again and again. And the following grew and the following grew. Next question, was a wolf you? No, the wolf was a version of myself that I perhaps would have liked to have been, a James Bond style version that didn't have any of the problems, issues that I faced, full of confidence, full of bravado. No, it was an imaginary figure. Next question, you self-published a book which was fairly popular and described as an autobiography, other stories in it true, based loosely on reality, a lot of hyperbole for the sake of entertainment. Short answer is no, not really. Next question, why do you think that these people lied to the police about you? I guess I'll never know. The only people that do know is them. But there are many explanations. For example, we live in an attention economy in which everybody wants to be someone. And a great way to become someone overnight is to become a victim of a well-known person. I think perhaps it's possible that they were trying to win favour with a group of friends that they had joined, or to impress new partners of theirs. And I think it's true to say that the kind of people that I was interacting with at the time weren't particularly stable and had a tendency to fetishize the whole idea of victimhood itself. I often hear people say things like, women don't lie about this kind of thing. And given the amount of upsides to lying about this kind of thing, I think it's quite a ridiculous statement. Next question, you said that the police did not act appropriately in this matter. No, they did not. The police broke into my house and they stole all of my digital devices, which housed all of the information that I needed to prove my innocence. They hid it from the DPP, they hid it from me, they hid it from my lawyers. They knew it existed, but they were trying to convict a person that they knew was innocent. And I think that's completely inexcusable. It's only by the grace of Steve Jobs and his automatic cloud backups, which we knew at the time, and I didn't even know were happening, that I was able to retrieve all of that information, present it to the court, and that's the reason the whole thing was thrown out of court without there even being a trial. Next question, you sued the police and won. Was it worth it? No, it wasn't worth it. It was 5 years of turmoil, and I would highly recommend no one goes through that process. I should have just let sleeping dogs lie. Next question, do you think you did anything wrong? I think we need to take the complainant's word for it when they said that they had a fantastic time with me and got exactly what they were looking for and would love to have done it again. Just because they changed their mind later doesn't change the fact they said that at the time. So from that point of view, no, I don't think I did anything wrong. I think we need to take the court's word for it when they said that I was guilty of no wrongdoing. So from that point of view, no, I did nothing wrong. However, if you're going to run around being that self-indulgent, I think you have to expect something bad to come of it. Did I deserve what I got? I don't know. I don't think so. But maybe I did. Next question. Reports say that I was somewhat of a celebrity in that space and that I travelled to events, signing books, so on and so forth. Is any of that true? Wildly exaggerated. There's some truth to it, but not a lot. Next question. Is all of that stuff a big part of your life? It never was. I was never really involved. Honestly, don't know how I ended up there in the first place. No, it's not a big part of my life. It's not a big part of who I am. But I'm sort of branded with it forever. That sucks. Next question. You said at some point that there needs to be some sort of societal shift based on the experiences that you've had here. Yeah, I do think there does need to be one. We need to be cognizant of the fact that we've essentially armed women with the launch codes to their own personal nuclear bombs as far as accusations go. One accusation will destroy lives, will destroy families, will destroy careers overnight. And the idea that all women at all times are going to use these launch codes in the appropriate manner is just ludicrous. And then on top of that, we have this bizarre ideology of believe all women. I think it's highly possible that in my case, the Believe All Women Brigade successfully convinced these ladies that it's acceptable to retrospectively withdraw consent whenever it becomes convenient for you to do so. And perhaps the true tragedy of all of this is that we've seen this process play itself out so many times now. An allegation is made, a life is destroyed, the legal system does its thing, and over time it's revealed that it was all nonsense from the start. And that's leading to allegation fatigue. Genuine victims find it harder and harder to be believed because it's so tempting, easy for people to lie about this kind of stuff now. So, who's benefiting from all of this? Well, it's not genuine victims. It's not the accused, obviously. It's certainly not society in general. It's not our legal system. The only people that benefit from the situation we've created are liars. Last question. How has it affected your life ongoing? It's been devastating to my life ongoing. It makes it extremely hard to have relationships, friendships, a career. It follows me everywhere. The internet's forever. And all of those articles, nonsense as most of them are going nowhere. So, I guess they got what they wanted.